It's March 2020, and the worst possible thing has happened. My improv comedy gang can't do our show live anymore. So one Sunday, we all jumped on Zoom to see if our improv show would work online, and we started playing around. We played around with the virtual backgrounds. Oh, look, I'm in the Arctic. We played around with the filters. Oh, I'm a bunny rabbit with a bunny rabbit's nose on. And we played around with the breakout rooms, and I got stuck in one. Help! But great, our improv show would work online. Cut to a couple of weeks later, and I'm in a networking meeting. That's moved online as well, and I was looking at some of the faces, and I could see there were quite a few people on that Zoom call that weren't having a very good time. So I started to help them out. I helped them with their breakout rooms, because I knew a bit by then. So, in fact, I knew you could rename a breakout room. So I renamed one of the breakout rooms the Circus. So when we opened them a few minutes later, somebody said, "I've been invited to join the circus." So I'm an improviser. I use improv for comedy. But improv isn't just comedy. If you're a musician, it could be a jam session. And actually, if you've ever had a conversation, you are improvising, making it up as you go along. Except improv isn't just making it up as you go along. And I'm going to share with you 3 fundaments that you would pick up if you went to an improv class. The first one is yes and, the improviser's mantra, also known as accept and build. You might hear in your everyday life quite a common word, no. Would you like some cake? No. End of scene. We don't use no in improv because it stops our conversation from going anywhere. You might also hear in everyday life, yes, but. Would you like some cake? Yes, but make sure there's enough for everyone. With yes, but, it's conditional. We can only move the conversation forward on somebody else's terms. So in improv, we use the term yes and. Would you like some cake? Yes and, oh, I'm really sorry I forgot your birthday. When we use the yes and of improv, we not only accept what someone is saying to us, we also build. We're adding something new to the conversation to take us in new directions to new ideas. 2, active listening. Listening to everything the other person has said to us. I think we're all a little bit guilty of tuning out or becoming distracted halfway through a conversation. Would you like some cake? And £1 million? Oh, yeah, I'll have some cake. What did you say? In improv, we listen for offers of as much information as we can get. 3, give yourself permission to fail. Now, in improv comedy, failure is very often where the humour lies. But let's just duck back to that networking meeting, because there was a few people on that call who were saying, oh, I've never done this before, I'll just give it a go and see how it goes, and that's good. But there were some other people trying very hard to be incredibly professional in an environment that they weren't familiar with. They weren't giving themselves permission to fail. I once had an improv student who said to me, oh, I understand improv, it's like a really healthy way of not giving a hoot. And he didn't use the word hoot. And me and my improv gang, we learnt Zoom by playing around. We were messing about. We were acting like little kids. And here's the thing. When you're a little kid and your brain is still developing, it's firing off all these little neurons all over your brain. Fire engine, spaceship, cardboard. I want to go to sleep. No, I'm not tired. Can I have some ice cream? Oh, I'm tired now. Oh, can I have some more chocolate? No, actually, please, can I watch some telly? Is it Xbox time? And as you get older, your brain tries to help you. It becomes more efficient, and it only takes you to those places that you need to go. Mortgage, marriage, work, sleep, repeat. And these little handrails pop up on your brain, taking you along these well-trodden paths. And that's why I think we need improv. Because improv is like a great big elbow, and it comes along and it knocks you off this well-trodden path and into the long grass of your brain where your creativity lies. Because the brain is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs working. I'm going to share with you a little improv game. It's called First Letter, Last Letter. Next time you have a conversation, what I want you to do is listen out for the last letter of the last word of the thing that the person says to you and make that the first letter of the first word that you reply to them with. Last letter of their word becomes the first letter of your word. For example, how are you? Understand that I'm fine. That's how it works. Keep playing it until you fail. And you will fail, and that's okay. There'll be a point where you're having the conversation, you can play it yourself, don't tell the other person you're doing it, just do it, right? Just do it and don't tell them you're playing it, it's good. And then as you're talking, your brain will go, oh God, I've got nothing, and that's okay. And you'll feel the little cogs in your brain spinning around, and you'll feel that elbow come and nudge you off that well-trodden path and into the long grass, and that is good. Because it's only by failing small and often that we can get to that really healthy way of not giving a hoot. Now, I'm not really talking about improv as comedy now. I'm not even kind of talking about improv as conversation. I'd like to think I'm talking about improvisation as a way to navigate life. Because when I hit rock bottom, I used the yes and of improv to get me out of that hole. 1,000 times a day, I would get these horrible little what-ifs dropping into my brain. What if you can't afford to sustain yourself? What if you never meet that special someone and you're lonely forever? What if you can't afford to get back on the property ladder? And I fought back with yes and. Can I afford to sustain myself? Yes, and actually I'm self-employed, so when I work really hard, I can see the fruits of my labours, yes. Will I ever meet that certain someone? Yes, and if I wasn't such a crazy workaholic and actually spent a bit more time on my social life, I actually might spend time fixing that, yes, and. Will I ever get back on the property ladder? Yes, and maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it will happen one day, it has, yes, and it did happen. I think improv hasn't just got me out of a hole. I think improvisation has made me a better and more well-rounded person. When I was in that hole, I met some people. Not comedians, real people with real jobs who used improv in the actual work. It's kind of who were these people? Applied improvisers. There was a team-building trainer and a software developer and a lady who used improv in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, counselling basically. And she was telling me how she used the yes and of improvisation to help her patients accept and build. And I just looked at her and I just smiled. Yeah. Yes. And. So, what will improvisation do for you? Will it make you funnier? Will it make you more resilient? Or will you just use it to have better conversations? Because when we have better, more positive conversations, I know it can have a better and more impactful effect on our life.